a Wind Down Wednesday. As y'all can see, it's a little different today because we got water in the cups. We're not doing no wine today. We just going to naturally wind down.
Listen.
So I got two guests with me. I want to try to introduce yourselves.
Okay. Oh man, so my name is Marcell Johnson. I'm a transformational public speaker and I'm a life coach. And I also have a show. It's called The Freedom Experience. It's on YouTube.
Hey, my name is YS1 Yusefsheltondafirst. Feel me? I'm the neighborhood favorite. But I rap to ignite purpose, so yeah.
Oh, I like that. Rap to ignite purpose. I like that a lot. So today we're going to be, first of all, I want to thank my returning viewers and thank you to anybody who's new and they're watching. I really hope you enjoy the show. And what we're going to be talking about today is love. So we're going to talk about love and like platonic relationships and family, a little bit about regular relationships like man and wife. And what else? Is that all?
And just like the black community and how we're just going to reconstruct the way that we see love.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like getting people to think about genuine, real love instead of like toxic love.
Exactly. And the reason why I feel like this topic is important is because I feel like platonic relationships between men and women are not like normalized. You know what I mean? Like we don't really know how to love each other without there being romance involved or sex involved or just like some type of, a little plot twist in there. So.
Some little perversion in there.
Yeah.
It's like every relationship got that perversion in it, and people aren't used to like genuine, solid relationship.
And I think it's extremely important for us to learn each other, respect each other, just genuinely love each other, just as brothers and sisters, and make that a normal thing, like without no pressure,
Yeah, I think what the issue is first before we even go there. First of all, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. Y'all are so busy.
Yeah, for sure. Got a lot of stuff going on. It's all God though, but I just want to say thank you to you because you are an extreme blessing. You're a light to this world, and like you're one of my childhood friends. And I just to see where you are right now in your life, the fact that you're just consistently putting out content, you're a content creator, you do photography, graphic design, like you're really crushing the game. And I just want to give you your flowers and tell you that you're doing an extraordinary job. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate
You're
that.
amazing, and I love you. So.
Well, hold on, because I gotta say, man, like in Pittsburgh, we're trying to build more creators and make Pittsburgh just more innovative, and your show is like a part of that.
Thank you.
I just gotta say, man, I appreciate you for just being an influencer, taking that step of faith, and really just, manifesting your dreams. And I'm gonna have you on my show where we we're gonna talk about, who she is. Yeah, but thank you though. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank y'all for coming. I really appreciate y'all for putting me in schedule for real.
For sure, big time.
I'm honored.
But I think what I was gonna say as far as the issue with love in the black community, or just even in general, is that like we've been conditioned to think about like what love is, like in a completely inverse way than what it actually is. So we don't really understand fully like what real love even looks like, and I think that goes into the reason why we're not really able to like manage platonic relationships, because any time that you go into a relationship with somebody and it becomes like intimate, like, and not like physically intimate, but like y'all open up and y'all become transparent, y'all reveal different things about yourself.
Right.
I think like, it seems like it's always leading to where, and like if we're man and woman, it's like where else could it be leading to other than us being in a relationship? But I think that's just because that's how we's conditioned. But it doesn't always have to be like that. There is like room and space, and there should be a space where we can have these healthy relationships that open up the door for healing from that like conditional like love, and from that just this toxic viewpoint of like everybody that I talk to or that I become friends with, that I open up to, now has to be someone who I'm pursuing.
Right. And I feel like the reason why it's easy to fall into that is because like, I mean, it's 2023, like, and we're still young too, so like we still have time, but this day and age, like pure love is just really not a thing. Most people are looking for like stuff that they can benefit from, and it's just, I don't know, there's always like an underlying situation there. So it's just like, I don't know, it's not easy to find a person who you really do connect with like genuinely. So I feel like when you do find that and they happen to be the opposite sex, of course you're gonna want to explore like the option of should we be together, but at the same time I feel like the more we do normalize those relationships and just like being friends and being able to trust each other, love each other, it'll be easier for that to become, you know,
just what
a
it
thing.
is.
Like for love to become pure again. I just, you know.
I think like when we was talking behind the scenes, I said that there was a post that I seen that said people aren't looking for, or people said, what did it say? People's not looking for love, they're looking for help.
Mm-hmm.
People's not looking for love, they're looking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a part of love becoming like kind of toxic is because people pursue relationships with the wrong perspective. They're really looking for help. Some people will just become your friend because you're Malaya, you're popping with a podcast. That's just gonna be sis, just so I can benefit from you. You feel me?
Right.
And then some dudes might just want to be with you because it's just like you're a hot commodity. Everybody wants you, so it's like you're filling a need or a void.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that whenever you go to God, and then He's able to just kind of give you genuine love first for yourself, then you pursue relationships in a pure way.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good. And even just to speak to that point, like, you definitely never should go into a relationship looking to fill a void. Like, cause me personally, like, I understand what that's like not having like my mom or my dad in my life. Honestly, a lot of like my life, I've been in a situation of like me trying to fill a void when it comes to relationship. And I know for a fact that like none of the females that I've ever talked to were ever able to like replace like my mother. The only thing, because the issue becomes like you are looking for someone to heal you whenever you should be healing yourself, and you should be going through the internal healing process that you need to go through before you even get into a relationship. Absolutely. And then when you get into a relationship, you could pour from a cup that's not empty but a cup that's full. And I know for me, for a long time, like I was in a space of like really just trying to get, you know, different things, whether it was like, you know, approval because I was playing football, whether it was me smoking or drinking or whatever it was. What it was like I was trying to fill a void, but I really learned that like the only thing that really could fill that void for me was Jesus. Like Jesus is the only thing that could actually take the form of like a parent and take the form of like a relationship, so I could learn to really begin to love myself. And now that I'm in that space, like I'm full and I can pour into somebody, but like it has to first start at a space where like you're really dealing with yourself and all of the internal conflicts and issues that you got, and not like trying to just fill it with other different things that like may only fill you for a moment.
Right, and I think that's really like true satisfaction. Because like when it's funny because me and Lex were just talking about this, like how people smoke and they'll drink and they'll do certain stuff too, like you said, fulfill things for a moment. And you start to realize like, okay, I'm smoking when I'm around this person because I gotta smoke to tolerate them, or I'm drinking when I'm in this space because I have to make myself feel like I'm having fun. But there comes a moment where you're like, wait, I don't enjoy being here, or I don't enjoy being with this person, so I'm bringing in other things just to, you know, make myself feel like I am. And then you want to chase like, all right, so what actually makes me happy? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where you go into that isolation phase that you're talking about with getting to know yourself and getting to know your belief system and getting to know Jesus, like actually getting like building that relationship. And that's how you learn to build a relationship, because if you're able to build a relationship with something that's unconditional and ain't never gonna change on you, you know what I mean? You kind of learn how to maneuver through variables when they come, you know, in real life. So,
and I think that's so major, and that was so fire.
That was good.
And I feel like you told us, that's so fire. And I know that you told us even behind the scenes how through your relationship with God is kind of what centered you to be able to even get solid enough to start creating again. And you know what I'm saying? But I feel like when it comes to relationships, whenever you're talking to somebody and they become a distraction, that's how you know that it's just not intentional. You got to cut that off. And that's like a male with like a male friend, a female with a female friend, boyfriend, girlfriend. The minute that I'm trying to pursue my purpose and my dreams and you're in the way of that, you're a distraction to that, that's how I know that you're really just sent by the enemy to, you know what I'm saying, get me off course. And that's when, like you said, you go into isolation, you get centered, and then you kind of, the truth opens up to you.
Right. You definitely get clarity. You get a lot more clarity so that you can like maneuver through life a little better. And everything's a learning experience. Like everything is new every day. Literally. So
and part of just like love in general is learning how to love yourself, and like you have to not be so hard on yourself, because I like really do get a sense that that a lot of people, especially in our generation, have like this unnecessary pressure, of course, from like social media and our parents and just different expectations that are put on us, and it makes us feel like we have to perform consistently.
Yeah.
And then that translates into our relationship with like spouses or friendships or whatever. It's like we always are trying to perform from somebody else for somebody else's love. But it needs to get to a point in your life where you're able to like, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Like, and really like open up yourself to a space where you could really just receive love, receive like self-love and receive love from God, receive love from like community and just fellowship. But like, I think that really is like a space where the isolation piece is wherever you start to really get filled up and learn how to love yourself and learn like the different things that you like or the things that you don't like, and learn how you need to be treated so that you could manage your relationships better.
Right. And just loving who you are and how you are when nobody's looking. And I feel like
that was powerful.
Yeah.
Loving who you are, how you are when nobody's looking. That's confidence. That's how you build your confidence. Yeah,
real confidence, because then you build a habit of just being yourself, and then once you like project yourself out into the world, that's just all you know how to be, and you love that so much, and you like how you feel so much in that space that you're not going to be willing to really switch it up for nobody else. You know what I mean?
Because you become solid. But like, you know what I'm saying? I think too that a lot of times, like you were saying, there is a lot of pressure on us.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that you do got to be patient with yourself. The stuff that we're talking about, it's not easy. If you're used to toxic relationships, it's going to be hard to come out of them. But there's something that I like to tell people to do, especially because like I'm a life coach, right? So I always tell people, like you said, get in isolation, and then you have to get like a gratitude notebook. I know he's really big on gratitude, and you just start talking to God and telling him what you're grateful for, and out of that space you start becoming aware of like the things you have instead of the things you don't have, and it shifts your perspective in your mind. But I think that you're a perfect example for like young ladies to see, to view, to watch, like how you're really living.
So
like you're really leading in that way. And to your point really fast, I think that we in the black community, we've learned to survive. So instead of loving, we're like in survival. You know what I mean? So it's like, forget about loving you. I need to eat. I need to take care of my family. So I'm cutting anybody off, everybody. Yeah. And I think that, to my point, whenever you go and you build that relationship with God, he then gives you so much security where then you're not able to just have a mindset of survival, but you're able to thrive, like thriving.
Right.
And then you give out of that space, like you said, your cup runneth over. But it's not easy. You got to take your time and just be authentic.
Yeah. Because like from a woman's standpoint, it goes from being like, you can be really like on the surface, you know what I mean, just superficial and looking for things like, all right, so this is what I want for my life, and this is the kind of man that I think would fit into that or complete that.
Yeah.
And it becomes so like you're chasing nothing, you know, it becomes such a rat race, because once you, like you said, build that relationship with God and yourself and realize like everybody deserves grace, even including you, and you start to love from a different place. Like you start to love from a place where you just feel like, dang, everybody deserves to feel this kind of love. Like everybody needs love,
for sure, and
regardless of where it's coming from. Whether you're my brother, everybody don't have, you know, a brother or a sister. Everybody don't have a present mother, present father. And even if you do, they're not always going to be the best example of genuine love.
Yeah, for sure. Because our parents, see, and this is like literally why like my brand is like being the first. Because our parents didn't really understand what they was doing either. Like, and so a lot of them, like just really felt susceptible to the same cycles over and over and over again. And so like we got to be like the first of our generation and the first of our family to like really set the tone and say like, yo, you don't have to go this way. Like you can be healthy and wholesome and it still be okay for you to like, because I think that the issue is that people look at that as like it's lame or it's corny or something like that, when really you being healed and you being a whole individual is the most lit that you can ever get in life ever. Because you walking around broken,
that's the goal.
You walking around broken, breaking other people is just not it. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that you said is that made me think of this quote that I read in a book was basically, you are what you attract. Or like if you don't like the people that you're attracting, then you have to become something different. And so for me, for a long time, it was like I kept attracting my ex in a different body every time, and it was the craziest thing to me, like
because that spirit recognizes that.
So it's like
we're really spiritual beings, and people don't really believe that. But it's like, listen, bro, if you're still like messing with the same person year after year, or if the same dude, it's like a different dude, but the next dude hits you, the next dude cheat on you and hits you, the next dude cheat on you. It's like there's something in you. There's a spiritual problem in you that needs to be healed and delivered, and only Jesus can heal that.
Well, can I share a personal thing with you guys?
Please,
talk
heavy. Let's get into it.
Nah, for real, I can't believe you just said that because it's hard. Like it's not easy to find people that you can have them kind of conversations with, right?
Yeah.
But there was a point in time where I had sat and I asked myself, I was like, yo, like, why is this spirit chasing me? Like literally in men, you know what I mean? And it's like I didn't know exactly what I meant by it, but I knew what I meant, because I'm like, I swear I feel like the same spirit keeps coming back to me in different people, and I was trying to figure out how. I'm like, why is this spirit like? I even asked myself out loud, like, yo, what do it want from me? Like, what is it? Like, what is the unfinished business that keeps? Why does this keep reoccurring,
bro?
You know what I mean?
Did you ever find that out?
I think I'm still wondering, because it's kind of like a thing that I'm trying not. I don't want to allow it to make me afraid to like date.
Yeah.
But I also.
So let me ask you this: are you a different person than you were then, or like are you becoming different, or you still feel like you still somewhat attract that?
I'm definitely. I feel like
different.
Yeah, I'm definitely different.
I can tell you're different.
But I feel like, I don't know, there's something about like, there's a certain kind of guy that I do attract, and I feel like it has to do with like my softness. You know what I mean? Like usually guys who are really like rough or hard are attracted to me, and I feel like it's because I'm soft.
Right, because of the nurturer in you.
But the devil will lie to you, because this is what I've seen with a lot of people. And like I said, I'm a life coach, so this is what I see. Females who are nurturing, who are giving, and who are loving, that evil spirit will try to be attached to you, because demons want life. So you have so much love and life to give, and they are used by the enemy to distract you and to always make withdrawals from you. Never putting deposits in you. They're just there to like kind of suck that out of you. And at the end of the day, it's like a thrill for you, because there's something about it that you enjoy, because it's a toxic situation.
And I was going to say that it's a thing that I also... That's the part about it that I check for myself, because I'm like, all right, I'm a woman, like, I'm going to be a woman regardless. Like, whether there's a man there or not, I'm going to cook every day. I'm going to make sure my house is clean. I'm going to be, I'm going to be who I am. But it's still a thing of, like, not using that as an excuse to still give everybody access to that feeling that I create in that space, in that feminine energy. Like, I can't really allow everybody in close on that. And I feel like that's what I'm working on. Like, I don't really know how to, like, half-step that. You know what I mean?
Because it's, like, black and white with you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's, like...
So, can I help you? Can I help you a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
So, look, this is what I would tell you to do. If I was life coaching somebody like you, what I would say is we need to create boundaries. So, I'm speaking spiritual talk, but let's just talk practical, right?
Yeah.
You need to create boundaries, and you need to put, like, different things in place where the minute that things happen or you see that red flag, you don't overlook it. A lot of times, women and men, God will show you the truth, but you overlook it. So what I would do is, I would sit down with you. We would come up with all the different things, and you know what I'm saying, we would put different things in place that are like red flags and boundaries. And then you just have to hold yourself accountable. And when God sees you doing that, some way, somehow, it's like the universe just works itself out, where all of a sudden the man that you've created boundaries for will be the one that's able to come around the back and come in. Because nobody else can come in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I also think, man, give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time. You're human.
Yeah.
We're all just growing, so don't beat yourself up. And if you got to go through another person that's going, you know what I'm saying, drag you through the mud, you might sometimes need to be drugged one more time so that you can wake up. I always say, like, life will always teach you the lessons that you need to learn. Right. But I feel like you're evolved. You're past that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're ready.
Ah, you're ready?
You're ready. She's ready.
Thanks.
And I feel like another thing is, in the black community, we got to start normalizing supporting each other. Like, I feel like for so long we had to compare, even back to the slavery, where it's just like, you're light skinned, dark skinned, if you're this way, that way. And I think it was set up to make us compete with each other, so we was never in unity. Because the devil knows, like, all he got to do is divide you and then he conquers you. But I feel like you're a part of the whole cycle of, like, building community and supporting each other and just, like, uplifting each other. Get over your jealousy. You got to get over your jealousy and just be like, look, everybody be feeling it when they see somebody doing something they want to do. But you got to like humble yourself and still support for the sake of unity.
Right. Because there's something that you can always learn from a person who's doing something you're doing, and y'all are never going to do it the same. Like, we can literally try to recreate this exact episode in a different space. It's not going to be the same.
It's not Malaya. Like, no matter what, she's not her, so we can't do it.
Yeah, big time.
There was something I wanted to say, and I kind of... I remember, but I don't. It was basically, it was bringing back the subject of platonic relationships. Between men and women, but even women and women, you know, like two women, it's not hard to not get romantic with a woman when you're a woman, but there are things that we need to work on, like, you know what I mean, as far as like you said, the jealousy, not worrying about getting in each other's way. I feel like society really puts us in a space where we have to compete. You know what I mean? There's never a group of women like at the top. It's always, oh well, they're all pretty, but I think she's the prettiest, or I like her style the most, or she's smart. We're always picking apart. Even with men, just with people we do that. But women are like really put on a pedestal of perception. So I feel like where we even choose our friends based off of who would I look good going out with.
That's really
wild.
Crazy.
That's so wild.
But so I mean, that's crazy. So what's even deep, like to answer that point, is that like even like when it comes to men, like that's like the way that like we gauge like our relationships as well, as far as just like whether it's female or male, like if having a friend or actually being with somebody. It's crazy because like we think about it in a way where it's like you want to have like a trophy on your arm, low key, and then like on top of that, like there be so many factors when it comes to like those type of relationships. It's like you want to have a trophy on your arm, you're low key trying to fill a void. Like it's like it just be so many dynamics like, to go into.
It'd be like everything outside of you. That's why it's so important to. It's like everything outside of just you.
And doing the actual work.
Because it's all the things that you're not. Like, you know, everything outside of you isn't all the things that you're not. Like, a lot of people, like, when men don't really feel like they're attractive physically, they want the baddest female. When men feel like they're not really the smartest, they want the smartest female. Like, they want... And women, too. Like, you know, women, we pick people. We tend to pick people to be friends and in a relationship with that bring... that thing to our presence that we don't already have. So it's like, I need them around because I bring the pretty, but she brings the smart, and you know, together we're like,
that's so true.
Rather than just working on yourself, like all the energy that we put into finding the perfect person to create the package to be whole, rather than making ourselves whole, is crazy.
For sure, and I think wherever, like, so there was a space in my journey where I got to like a real good space where I start really like focusing on myself, and I start really like getting closer in my relationship with God, fasting and praying, like journaling, like really taking care of my own mental, emotional, spiritual health. And it was like out of that space that like God entrusted me with different relationships, right? Like and He brought like literally my right hand man like in my life. And it was because like I was becoming what it was that I actually wanted. Like I wanted to be able to have community and individuals around me who was just thorough all the way around the board, like spiritually, financially, business savvy, like had all these different aspects. And it was when I start working on each dimension and each level of my life that I start just attracting that energy to me. So I think it's always a red flag whenever you're feeling like you're trying to attract people to you because it's something that you don't have. You have to literally become that, and you have to like be so focused and committed to your own internal personal journey that like those people are a byproduct to like where you are going and where you're like on your way to. Like that's the best way to attract those people. Not going after those people because you don't have it, but like focusing on you, and then those things will come to you.
Right. It's like unlocking levels in a game, you know, like
for sure.
Like you pass certain levels and you unlock new things because the you on level 1 wasn't ready for the gifts that you get on level 10. Like, you know what I mean? And it just takes understanding to really be able to accept that and like want to be ready for it rather than jumping the gun, you know?
For sure. And I think that basically what you were saying is true, but like for me being in business and just having different things that I do, sometimes I do get into relationships for networking purposes. Sure. But I think the difference is my motive. My motive is always pure. I'm not trying to sabotage or manipulate you to try to pull something out of you. It's like, hey, bro, or hey, sis, I think we'll do good with collaborating. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're a great photographer. I think that, and it's like, it always have to go back to your motive too. But once again, when you do the internal work, then you're always coming from like that genuine space. Right. And even like with me, like, let's just be real. We're all human, right? Everybody's doing wild stuff. I know that you're going through stuff. You're doing whatever you did, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just in their own world. But I can relate to that because we all have these desires to just get rich, get fame, or get money. Like whatever it is, you're just trying to finesse your way through it. But I had to like submit myself under God, right? And it seems so difficult, but what happens is you just got to make a mental decision that like you don't know what to do with your life. Like I don't know what to do. Like if I'm gonna mess this up, you feel me? Facts. And then you submit that unto God in a genuine way. And you know I'm gonna mess this up.
You gotta keep it 100 with yourself,
bro. Yes, when you mess it, like, cause you keep trying, but you'll keep messing up. But finally, you come to the decision to submit yourself, and what God does is He responds to you by gracing you. Grace is like giving you the power to do something you couldn't do before. Right. So I might have mad desires to do whatever, be on whoever, do whatever, but because it's like I'm submitted under God's love in that way, it stops me from making that choice. Cause you said something earlier. You said love is a choice.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely. I feel like cause Yusef has said something to me about just as quick as you can allow yourself to fall in love, you can allow yourself to fall out. And I think that has a lot to do with making that choice. Like, you know, in a certain season when people might bring something to you that you need at the time, you allow yourself to fall in love. Wow. You allow yourself to open yourself up to that person because they're bringing you something you need, and then you get into another season where you don't need that, and now you're allowing yourself to just turn your back on them or, you know, just stray away.
So that goes back to I'm not looking for love, I'm looking for help. And because after they elevate, and it's like if I'm broke and I get on you because you got money, then I'm up. It's like I don't even really want you. You were just used to help me get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when the void is filled, there's no more space for that filler. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
For sure. And so I think that, you know, it all goes back to the original point, which is that like you have to work on yourself, and you got to get to a space in your life where you understand that like everybody's put on earth for a reason and a very specific purpose. Right. And like that is to collectively overall just advance humanity and push it forward. So like any room that you walk into or any space, situation, relationship that you walk into, it should be to add value to whatever space you're going into. Yes. And like the issue with our community is that like we being in a survival mentality of like poverty and impoverished like thinking, it makes you feel like you need to take. I need to get out on this. I need to try to finesse and make this happen and make this shake instead of you giving. But this is the way the the kingdom of God works. Is like when you give, you get. But the way that the law of the system of the world works is whenever you take, you get. And it's like no, when you give. But the issue with that is that like I was saying. Anytime you're in a space where you're tweaking, because I get it, I was there too. When you're tweaking and you're trying to reach out for stuff and you're like just trying to finesse and get your little way to get something, it always runs from you. It's going to go further and further away from you. Yes. The way that I got into a space where I'm at right now, where I'm literally just thriving and I'm on top of my career, is because like I chose to be grateful. And when you choose to be grateful, you'll attract those things that you actually want. When you be grateful for what's right here in your spirit, in your circle, the things that like are meant to come to you like will naturally, organically be attracted to you because you're focusing on yourself and building yourself up with choosing to find different things that you could celebrate in your life that might have nothing to do with like a monetary value. So I think for me, one of my highest practices is every single day when I wake up, I choose to give thanksgiving because it's the thing that grounded me. It's the thing that kept me sane in a space where there was so much darkness and so much violence and so much drama around me. Like I literally just like narrowed down. I got isolated and I got away from so many people, and I just start going internal and writing letters of gratitude, and it got me out of depression and anxiety and fear of death and like so many different things. So like you got to just start in a space where you're adding to yourself and you're pouring into yourself and you're loving on yourself. and then you could get into a space where even like friendships, relationships, like you could have that healthy balance because you love yourself.
Exactly. And then you're more focused on, like you said, what you can bring to the table versus what you can take off of it. And I think that just completely changes the dynamic of how you move. Like, I remember a point in time where I kept getting messages. Like, I just kept getting messages from God where I kept hearing certain things. Like, certain rooms aren't going to move until you walk into it. Like, there's certain tables that are waiting for you. There's this, there's that. And I knew that in order for me to make it to those spaces, I had to improve myself. And it became...
Talk heavy.
I can't even get my eyes off of, like, come on.
I'm just being 100% honest. Like, it became to a point where I got tired of it, and I'm like, dang, like, who am I to, like, just not being selfish, like, who am I to strip these tables or these spaces of whatever it is that I have to offer, or slow down the pace of this thing because I'm not taking the time to improve myself.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Rather than worrying about, oh, well, all right, let me get myself together because I want this, I want to be rich, I want a big house, I want, like, that, man, that stuff is really not important. And like you were saying, just being grateful for what you have. When you learn how to maximize the things that you already have, people will see that and they'll come around you and they want to give you what you need. Because
straight up.
they know that it's a bonus and they know that you'll be grateful. Like, there's nothing worse than giving somebody something and them not being grateful for it.
See, and that's the way God look at it. And I feel like this is the reason why when I tell people to write down things of gratitude, don't be like, I'm grateful for this. Like, you got to really think, even if it's like a candy bar, even if it was just like your dentist appointment, even if it was just,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like a babysitter. Like, I'm so thankful for my mom, God. She babysat my kids, whatever it is. Like, you got to truly get into a space of gratitude because when you become grateful to God, He loves that, right? Yeah. And it almost makes Him be like, you know what? I want to give you more. I want to give you more, but He only gives you what you can handle, what you worked on yourself to receive. That's why it's so important to work on yourself. Then God He entrusts you with more. And it's a journey. There is no overnight thing. And something to your point real fast, I think that when you start working on yourself, you attract different people, different relationships. And in a Black community, I feel like a female having a female relationship, a man having a man relationship, there's so much like either they're against each other, really trying to like backdoor and just get out. Like they're low-key competing, you know what I mean, instead of supporting. But one thing that we're all trying to shift the narrative on is like truly supporting bro. Like bro's a rapper, you know what I'm saying? He's going throughout the city of Pittsburgh, and I just was able to serve and help and do different things to help you capitalize and build your career. And I'm doing it without no hate. I'm not doing it with no jealousy. I don't have no evil intent. And that type of stuff is hard to find.
For sure.
Yeah, it is.
And just even if you just like think about the word Thanksgiving, like I said, you're giving thanks. So anytime you're giving, you'll get something back. And even if it don't come through the same source or the same channel, like it's the energy is going to be circulated back to you. Like if you was having a terrible day and you go give somebody a smile on their face, or you just do a kind gesture, it'll come back to you. That energy, it'll actually feed you. And I remember like we had seen something that was like talking about mirror neurons. Whenever you do something kind for somebody, the same like ecstasy feeling that they get from what you did, you kind of get it too. So you get like a double portion of what it is that you give. So like, man, giving is so essential, and that's the way to give. If you feel like you're in poverty, you give your way out of poverty. Not even just in a like monetary way, but the way you give your way out is like by doing things where you're helping and you're serving and you're like walking throughout life, and you're just looking for a way that every time you walk into a room, it's like, how can I help to make this space better? And then when you have that type of problem solver mentality, opportunities is just going to come to you. Like the way I even got into the space that I'm in, talking about I rap to ignite purpose, is because I was like, out of space in my life where I was like tweaking and trying to get on and trying to blow up and have success and like trying to get rich. And it was like, I was just trying to like take from producers and take from videographers and graphic designers just to get what I wanted. But then I got to a space where like, nah, every single person that I interact with, every single person that I encounter with, every single person that like just listens to what it is that I'm doing, there's something that's going to be inside of them that sparks them to make them realize that there's more to life and that they have an identity and a reason and a purpose for being on earth. That's when I really like honed in on my vision and was like, all right, I have something to give to the world now. You feel me?
And that's why I had to have you on here. Like, And I'm happy that it worked out the way that it did. Like, you brought him and we got to meet. And I'm like, dang, now I get like a double. Like you said, I feel like I'm getting a double portion because I never got a chance to meet you. You know how you were. But just following your journey, I just start seeing how it was just organic. Like, it's one thing when people are like rapping or creating just because, like you said, they want something out of it. Like, I want to be rich or I want just a spotlight. But it's like this, the substance of what you were talking about and the passion behind it was just so real, you know. And so, I don't know, it's something that'll sit on you. Like, there's one thing, you hear a song and it feels good, like, hey, this is fun, oh, I'm having a ball listening to this. Then you hear something and it make you'll be thinking about it next week, like, dang, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's powerful. And I feel like people in our generation that carry that kind of power in their voice, we have to talk more because we always get taught to, like, be quiet or don't be the loudest person in the room. Like, I literally I've lived in this space of, what is that called, you guys? Like, just like...
Oh, like kind of like shrinking yourself.
Like muffled, like...
Like insecure, pretty much like pulling back your light, like not letting your light shine.
Your light.
Yes, because I've been in so many situations where I'll speak and people kind of just look at me like, "What are you talking about?" Or like I'll make people uncomfortable, so I'm like, let me just be quiet."
Meanwhile, you shift in the room.
Malaya, like, first of all, you are extremely intelligent. You are very enthusiastic. You're very ambitious. And like everything's gonna work out for you. Like I know like people try to shrink your voice and like, but that's because you have a very, very heavy assignment on your life for you to do great things, for you to change other people's lives with your podcast.
It's an anointing.
With just like with your businesses, everything that you put your hands on is gonna be blessed. And people try to just stifle that because of how big the anointing and the call and the assignment was on your life. But I just want to say thank you for having me on the podcast and for giving me the platform to really just be able to share like about my perspective about love, my story and everything, because like, you know, it always is very meaningful whenever I see people from my neighborhood or just from my community that support what it is that I do, because like we grew up in a space where like it's just the hood mentality and nobody really is trying to think in a positive way. So anytime that you're doing that, you're going hard against the grain of the culture. And like for me to be doing that and still receive the support and the love of people that I grew up with and around, like it really means a lot to me. So I'm grateful for the platform and for the opportunity to be here. And that's why I had to bring Bro through, because like he adds so much value to my life. You feel me? Yeah. So it was just like by you giving the platform, like you said, you got a double portion. And it's just like, that's literally the way that the law of giving works. Like you give and you don't even expect nothing in return. It gotta be genuine and pure. Like I'm not even thinking about getting nothing in return from this, but I'm just gonna give out of my heart. And that's like, I feel like that's real love. But you gotta first give that love to yourself though, in order for you to even really be able to pour it out though.
And I think just to say, like, sometimes you gotta forgive. Yeah. Forgiveness is love too. And it's not that people deserve the forgiveness, but sometimes forgiving somebody is really you just loving yourself. It's like either I can stay in depression and stay angry, or I can choose to forgive so I can love myself. And I think that a lot of the times it's the enemy. You got to realize that we're not fighting against flesh and blood. Like, I'm not fighting against you. There's actual spirits. There's demons who are literally trying to get you to be divided against your family, friends, or who just possess that person to get to you. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of that, you got to choose to forgive people so that you can heal for yourself. So back to love, I feel like sometimes loving yourself is saying, you know, I forgive you, I forgive me, and I'm putting that to the side, giving out to God, and I'm going to just keep it moving. Because, you know what I mean, just imagine being 40 years old, 50, and you still mad at somebody from your 20s, like, negative, like, that type of stuff is, you know what I'm saying, that's dead, and it's a trap. So make sure you forgive and keep it moving.
Yeah, forgiveness is refreshing, for sure. But yeah, forgiveness is definitely refreshing because, like you said, it's kind of like, it's like dropping bags. Like, if you going on a flight and, you know, you don't have room for all the stuff you want to bring, like, we give power to a lot of things, you know, and one of those things could be like our attitude or our ego, where you're holding on to stuff that you're mad, like you said, mad at somebody from your 20s and in your 40s, and you still carrying that luggage. Like, dude, you could have made so much more room for something more positive, and you still carrying that with you. So, like, I feel like the refreshingness. I mean, what's that?
Refreshing. Yeah, the refreshment.
The refreshment.
Fact, you just added a new word to the dictionary. That's okay.
It's all good. Yeah.
The peace,
they got it. We got it.
The peace that you get from forgiving people is just like, undefeated. And just letting things go. That's all a part of like cleaning and just
for sure.
Staying pure. You gotta purify. And I feel like that's a part of that.
It's not always easy though. Some people did the most to you, and you're gonna have to like you said, choose to love. You're gonna have to choose to forgive, regardless of your feelings. Sometimes people think love is like this romantic thing because Hollywood and TV they romanticize love. So anytime you see somebody in an intimate relationship or you see anybody that saying that they're loving somebody, it's always in a romantic way because that's what we've been trained to do. But you have to choose to love even when you don't feel like it. You have to choose to forgive even when you don't feel like it. And I think God blesses you. When you make those choices to genuinely love, you're just becoming more like God. And man, he just opens up the doors of heaven and blesses you. And you know what I mean? We just gonna keep elevating because we just make the choice to love.
Swear, and I think even what plays into forgiveness is really you just forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Because like a part of like whatever anybody else did to you, part of you be feeling like, man, I shouldn't have let that happen, or like this person did me dirty and I shouldn't have allowed it to happen. It's part of like that forgiveness be a healing process for yourself to be like, Seth, I love you. I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? And I know you might have like did something that was foolish and you was kind of doing the most a little bit too. But like I forgive you, and then you could be like, all right, I forgave myself, and I forgive this person because what this person did wasn't official and it wasn't okay, and by no means necessary can we justify that. But I think at the end of the day, like forgiveness is really for you to begin a process of healing for yourself. It don't mean like allow that person to come back in your life and trample all over you all again. It's like, no, forgiveness is for you to be able to say, look, I forgive you, but there's like a certain boundary now that's put up for like people like you and just you to even come back in my life. So,
and to be honest, whenever you're forgiving other people, you got to realize like I have a motto where it's always like my fault. So I feel like whenever you just learn how to take responsibility for the part that you played, it frees you to then forgive other people. Because somewhere in that mix, somewhere in that toxic relationship, somewhere in those dynamics, you played a part, or there's just a lesson to be learned.
Right.
Even if you didn't do nothing wrong and it wasn't your fault at all, there's still something that you can do better. There's a lesson that you can get out of it. And I think that, man, we're all on earth together. We're all fighting, this battle together. And instead of fighting each other, let's get together and then, fight the good fight of faith. So I just feel like you're doing a great job. And I got to just keep giving you your flowers because, man, I'm so proud of you. Like,
thank you so much.
You're doing good and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
No, I definitely appreciate that because sometimes, first I want to speak to this point before I go to the next one. With forgiving people, it definitely also teaches you how to forgive yourself, like you said, because you have to find a space where you can be like, well, I can relate to this. I wasn't always knowledgeable. I could have been ignorant to that fact at some point in my life too. So if I can forgive them, I can forgive myself, or vice versa. If I can forgive myself, I can forgive a person. And you don't have to have done the same exact thing, but just understanding where it came from, or understanding they're just hurting for something. They felt like they needed that.
Have an understanding.
Yeah, have an understanding. Yeah. That helps you too, because the thing is that a lot of the times when people are hurting other people, it's because they're broken. It's because they don't really have that healed soul that they really need to have for real. So I think that's a big part of not only just the forgiveness piece, but it's part of what plays into that is having understanding. Sometimes you might not understand, but looking for understanding could also help you as well to be man, I can see their situation, still don't justify what they did, but I understand it from the whole over.
Right. And some people, I just look at it I'm not going to deal with you on earth. I'll see you in heaven. So it's some people, you got to forgive them and let them, and it could be a brother or sister, you might have to go 5 or 10 years without talking to somebody until they get their mental together for you to be able to relate to them and be on the same page. And that's okay. Don't beat yourself up if you got to separate yourself from people.
And that's a scary decision to make.
It is.
It's scary because the way things go, you don't know if you'll get that opportunity again. But you have to be kind of willing, to maybe lose that opportunity if you feel if it makes more sense. You know what I mean?
Cause boundary.
Sometimes you got to step away from people for them to even understand what it is you're trying to show them, or vice versa, for you to understand what they're trying to show you, and then y'all could come to some kind of equal medium to where, you know, we could agree to disagree or understand where each other's coming from. Like, I've been told that I make too many excuses for people, and
but that's love.
You be trying to see the best in people.
Yeah.
Not only that, I really just try to gain understanding. Like, I try to see it from both sides. Like, if I was this person, or even if I were to do something like that, why exactly, you know, would I do it, or you know, why might they do it, and or why is their mind maybe tainted? Like, you know, a lot of the times people be out their body because of their circumstances. Like, you just never know. And I try to not hate people or be too upset with them for making mistakes. Cause I've made so many mistakes. Like, and luckily it didn't affect too many people around me. But just still, like, you know, just making a mistake is a mistake.
Period. Yeah.
So I just try to understand, and we keep saying grace, but, like, you know, just give grace to that situation. And whether I remove myself or not, I don't want to remove myself with no, like, negative feelings about someone.
For sure, because I think just the way that you deal with yourself is the way that you deal with everybody else, or vice versa. I think you know, like, really, like, people are mirrors and generally just soundboards for us to see ourselves on. So, like, if you're not really able to give certain people grace, or you're very, like, spiteful towards individuals, or you just hold a lot of, like, animosity and grudges in your heart, that's because you're really holding a lot of animosity and grudges in your heart towards yourself. So that's why it goes back to, like, just forgiving yourself too.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have y'all ever been, like, the toxic one in the relationship?
Yes.
I pretty much have been the toxic one in relationship for predominant of my life. And now, I was for surely just a toxic individual because, like, I was the person who was just, like, in relationships because it was a thing to do. Like, I was, like, once again, I was feeling a void, but for real, it was, like, I just thought it was fun to just be in a relationship, and before I'm out of that relationship, I'm in another relationship. And then it's like, before I'm out of... So I chain dated individuals, like, I chain dated females from the time that I was, like, in second grade until I was in high school, for real. Like, I was legit, like...
Not second grade.
No, I had girlfriends, and I had multiple girls in second grade. I promise you, I was really...
Like, he was a toddler begging them.
No, like, I've always had a girlfriend, like, my whole life, for real, though. Like, it's never been a time where I didn't have a girlfriend. So I think for me, this is a new space and a new season of my life where I literally haven't had a girlfriend for, like, since 2016. So it's been, like, a long...
love that for you.
Yes, it's been a long time, but I'm grateful, though, because, like, I was in a space of, like, me just feeling like, you know, I just wanted to have, like, it was just an identity piece where, like, I didn't really know who I was. So therefore, I felt like if I had a female, then it made me seem like I'm more masculine, or like, I'm really that dude because I bagged the prettiest female in school, or like it just made me feel like, oh yeah, like it just fed all of those different narratives. And so, like, it wasn't even because I liked certain females. I would just be in relationships with females, not even because I liked them or thought they looked good or nothing. It was just, like, legit. And it was like wanting the attention, though. But it was an attention thing, like, really just feeling like I had my parents, so I wanted to really, like, get attention from females. And so that was really, really where it was rooted at, though.
And, like, feel some close love. I can relate to that, literally, like, the whole chain dating thing, because, and I thought that, it's funny because I went so long thinking, like, that it was just because I didn't want to, like, hoe around. Like, I never wanted to be single and, like, dating a bunch of guys or having sex with a bunch of guys or none of that. But so I ended up, I would kind of invest my energy into one person. Like, you know what I mean? I'll be in a relationship, then that doesn't work out, and then there's always guys lined up. Like, not to say it like that, but you know what I mean?
No, I know, I got it.
We say yikes. No, there's always.
I get it.
It's when you're a woman, there's always, like, a lot of men.
Like the next runner up, like, okay, you're out
competing for your attention. So it's like, all right, well, this one seems kind of genuine. Or, like, I always kind of had a pick. So it's like I would go to the next guy, and I wouldn't even be trying to, like, be their girlfriend, but it's like when guys, I feel like I'm one of them people that, like, when guys get a hold on me, they're like, oh yeah, I'm not playing with you, like, this is what it's gonna be, like, we're in a relationship, you're my girlfriend, and I'm just like, okay, and that's toxic. That is toxic because, like, I don't, like, it's very toxic, but
let me ask you this, what about that thrills you? Like, why is that a thrill for you?
It's not a thrill for me. It's just, it became normal. It's not a thrill. Like, it wasn't anything that made me feel giddy, like, like, no. It's just, it's literally just normal for me. Like, I felt like being a girlfriend was normal. And I feel like that's a part of my issue now with, like, having guy friends, or even, you know, getting to know a guy and not knowing how to not be a wife You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to differentiate just being welcoming or being hospitable with being a wife, because I've never not been somebody's girlfriend.
Yeah, so
you always feel like you're what?
I was gonna say the lines like with that really do get blurred, and I get that, because it's like majority of the females that I've talked to throughout my life have been like people that I actually just was going with, but the lines with that become so blurred, especially when you're on this journey to healing, and like you're really like discovering yourself, and you're learning that it's okay to have platonic relationship. You get into this space of feeling like still like, all right, well, I'm doing this the right way, so then it kind of has to be it in a way, and it's just like even like you, it's a whole perspective change that really just has to happen, and not even just with you, but with me, like for sure. And I just know like I'm not susceptible. I'm saying that I'm not susceptible to the same trap of like feeling like, man, just because like she's my friend, she's dope, she got all these good things going for her, she's a woman of God, etc., like this might really be the one. And I think it's just like a mental shift, and that's not easy. Like that's easier said than done for you to like be like, oh, well, this is like my brother, and this is my sister. It's like not just as easy and cookie cutter as just doing it that way. Like it's like it don't really work that way.
For real. And it becomes a thing to where you're going through the motions of learning who you are while being in someone else's space, and that becomes so toxic to yourself, because it becomes so hard. You're kind of fighting for space, but you're also not knowing how to be alone. You know, like I had to relearn how to be alone and just take space and not feel like somebody got to be there, and not giving myself kind of excuses to make it normal anymore. Like, you know, because you still grow regardless. Like, no matter what, you still grow whether someone's there or not. But you got to make 100% sure that you're growing as yourself and not as you and somebody else, because that's easy. Like, it's easy to grow as a pair versus growing by yourself. So
and a lot of oh, my bad.
No, I was closing it out.
I feel like a lot of people, though, they end up in relationships, and then like say that you're in this 7-year relationship, you become so much of that other person, and then when y'all break up, it's like you got to figure out what's really you, and what was the part of you that just adapted to that person to survive in that situation. And that's where like, I hate just keep plugging on my life coach, but literally, you know what I'm saying, whenever I'm working with people, it's like unplugging the things that really weren't you the whole time, the things that you were pretending to be in order to cope with that relationship, and then figuring out what really is, like, who are you really, and then projecting that into the world, and then finding somebody who matches that energy. And I mean, it's not the easiest thing even for me. Like, even though I know this, to know it is different than to do it. And I feel like the relationships that I've been in, the reason why I was able to tell it was or wasn't my wife is because there's a certain grace. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'll start dating somebody, I'll start messing with somebody, and I feel like I'm having to like work for it in a way where it's like going against grace. And sometimes you don't know what that feels like. But then whenever God is like blessing that relationship, there's a certain like grace that falls on it where it just makes it easy. So I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say that I'm a life coach, you know what I'm saying? I got a TV show, I'm doing stuff. I meet somebody and she adds value to that, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to her, I'm with her, I'm praying about like, God, this is gonna be my wife. And even if she don't do the same exact thing that I do, something about it makes me feel graced, like I'm in the right place and I will be going against God to get out of it, right? And that's the grace of God. Now, on the opposite end, there's a female I'm talking to that's bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, she look exactly how I wanted her little hair, everything's perfect, but like, I'm forcing her to be in my life. I'm forcing her to support. I'm like going against what I'm doing to like be in her life to make it work, but everything about it is telling me let her go. That's not a graced relationship. And a lot of people are in those type of relationships and they're fighting against God's hand. And you just got to give up. And that's another, hold on real fast, and that's another thing. The girl that might be your wife might not look like the way you want her to look. You might have to mature and be like, listen, I got to die to my flesh and die to my own desires to get what God wants. Or the guy you want. He might not be a drug dealer that, you know what I'm saying, drive a Range Rover that got money, or just this. He might be a dude that literally that just started walking in his purpose. But when he gets with you, you give him tools and you give him gas to then propel in his life. And next thing you know, y'all are millionaires in a year. But you wouldn't even look at him because you felt like he had to have that now. So just Focus on that grace.
That was really good, bro.
Yeah, that was real.
That was excellent. I think
talk heavy.
I think that for sure that was heavy talk heavy.
You feel me?
I think on the flip side of that coin, bro, the thing that like whenever you are finally in a space where you're thriving and you're in purpose and you're walking out this journey of faith and like really doing everything you feel like you're led to do on earth, it could become, this is where it becomes sticky territory whenever it's like you're doing that. And while you're on the road, you're meeting different individuals that may be like opposite sex, for instance, and it's like you're feeling like, man, this individual is like could potentially be because like now not only like are you like healing from those toxic traits and ideologies that you adopted, you're in a space where it's like, yo, I'm in my purpose, she's in her purpose, she does this, I do that, we complement each other's purpose. It's like everything leading up to that moment be making you feel like, because there's a certain grace. Like there be situations that you enter into where the female is not just a female who's out here who's wild, and she's somebody who's like up your alley. She's in purpose, like y'all are around each other in the same vicinity because maybe y'all even work together. And so it just like gets into a space where like now you're like thinking about like, you know, is this my wife? Is this my wife or is this my husband? And it's because it has a certain grace to it. And I know that doesn't always mean that that's supposed to be who you're with. You might you might literally just specifically supposed to be in that relationship just to do purpose or just to do business or to do life with on a long trajectory, but it's not always like you have to be with that individual.
And you know what? I think a lot of times, especially like in church culture, I wasn't really raised in church or anything, but I understand it enough to be able to speak on it. I feel like people are automatically like, oh, that's your wife, that's your husband. Oh, you know what I'm saying? What do you think about this person? What do you think? And they're always trying to play matchmaker. But you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But I think that one thing that I learned to do is to not pervert divine connections. Sometimes I can meet, like for instance, I meet Malaya, and let's just say it's like God's like, yeah, this is somebody you're going to work with, build with, this is somebody who's going to benefit you, you're going to benefit them, this is part of your purpose. But all of a sudden, my lust kick in, and now I'm like, what's up? Yeah, what you about to, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm about to drop bro off, what you about to do tonight? All of that kicks in. And then I pervert a divine connection. And I think a lot of times you have to be willing to look past. Like, I love that God stripped me down and he made me start seeing people, everybody is like a brother and sister, right? So now it's like I don't lust over females. As soon as I look at them, it's like, oh, what's up, sis? And God has to open my eyes up to make me think or to make me see that this is my wife. But I think that part of men and women's problems is we look out of a perverted eye and we see each other in a sexual way first. Before seeing like the person. It's like get to know the person before you even allow that. And I know that it's hard, but to your point, you can meet somebody that you're supposed to do life with, but then you perverted it. You turned it into a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it wasn't supposed to be that. So a lot of times you just gotta be careful.
I think just for me, like in a transparent way, like I don't like when I was younger, I used to meet females and be on some stuff like, oh, I'm trying to smash, like she's official, I'm trying to bag her and get with her. That was like the mentality that I had then, but now I don't see females and automatically think I'm trying to smash her or I'm lusting over her or feel like, ooh, I wonder what she, like I don't even think that way no more for real. Like my mind like go to a space of like just really just thinking about like how dope they are as an individual. Like I might not like so this is me being transparent. Like so I might not even originally view you from a lens of like I want to smash or view you from a lens of like I want to beg you and want you to be my wife. I might view you from a lens of like, oh, you're a really dope person. And I think over time it might grow on me, and once I like spend enough time with the thought and ruminate on it a little bit, it might start making me feel like this person like really could be my wife. Look, the way she sing, the way I rap, the way she dance, the way I rap, the way she you know is able really good with business, and the way I so it just like it make me feel that way. And I think like it's more trickier than just like, oh, I'm looking at her like I want to smash her, I want her to be my wife. It's like it's a deeper rooted situation where like I think now the space that I'm getting to is realizing and understanding that like like I'm just on a up right now, like and like there's a lot of amazing things that are happening in my life. Like I got a lot of amazing opportunities around me and just people that are surrounding me and coming into my life. And the way I'm looking at it is just wanting to be able to manage the relationships in the most healthy way possible. Facts. Like, and that's what's helping me for real. Not just looking at it like, oh, this is my sister or my brother in Christ. It's like, nah. What's helping me is like, I know that there's individuals that I'm working with and around that like I might actually genuinely be feeling a type of way towards. I might even be feeling internally like, oh, I'm falling in love. But like what keeps me from even like getting that message across or conveying that or giving those vibes off to the person is realizing like this might be a relationship that like is meant for us to continue to do business or do work together. And if I allow myself to like go into a space of like trying to bring you in the fold as like a significant other, it will taint the relationship and it won't allow it to be what it really was supposed to be.
That's what I mean about like perverted. Sure. Yeah, that's what people do. They pervert the relationship that it's supposed to be. So if your ground level is just like, listen, like, nah, it's kind of just like starting off with friendship. Yeah. Like everything starts on that base level and then from there it builds up. But I know women and even some men, you know what I'm saying, as soon as they meet somebody, they start planning their wedding, they start planning their babies. Like, oh, my baby is going to look like this. You go into a whole spell as far as like your life with that person.
Fall into a delusion. Ooh. Instead of like giving it time to develop, like you said, because even if you say you meet your wife today, but y'all are not meant to get together today, like you know you need to
ruin it.
Yeah, y'all got stuff that y'all have to get done first. That's on a more professional level. So it's like we can't put them feelings into it yet because we got to get this done first. But then when it's time, and that's where I feel like faith comes in.
Yeah, for sure. You know? Just
and patience. And patience.
Because with this is, I think for me, I just get excited because like I know God promised me a long life with marriage and wife and kids and just success and all of it, and I know that's what He promised me. So I like low key was like on some stuff like yes for sure tweaking because it makes you want to feel like, all right, this is what you showed me for the end result. I might as well just make it happen. It's right here in front of me. Why wouldn't I just make it happen? It's right.
But everything that you do, you mess up. Yeah. So it's like, that's why you got to go back to like anything that I'm trying to do outside of God, I mess it up.
If I'm putting my hand, if I'm hitting go, like if it's not just going and I'm hitting go, you got to realize that you're running the risk of messing it up.
No, for sure.
But like so, I feel like that's where I came in with the faith. Like that's where faith comes in because if you know for a fact, like you said, it's a promise. You know for a fact it's coming. Why do you feel like you have to do something to make it happen? It's going to happen.
It becomes, like you said, a faith thing because it's like I don't trust God to make it happen on His time. I got to make it happen on my time.
But hold on, we can even transfer out of relationships just in life. Yeah. We be trying to make stuff happen.
Absolutely.
And it's like if God say I promised it to you, then you don't got to tweak. You could just wait
for sure.
Until it, you know what I'm saying?
Like and like even to that point, bro. Like with my career, bro. When I first moved back home to the city, I was on some stuff like I just dropped out of college. I'm about to make music. I'm finna blow up. Like I got it. Like, and it didn't work that way for me, but that's because I was on some stuff like trying to take. But then I got into a space where I learned like, yo, I need to like learn my identity and learn who I am and where I come from, and then I could go and give into the world. And when I start doing that, that's when all of these opportunities start seeking me and finding me, grant opportunities and just different. Now I have a residency, you know what I'm saying? By the way, February 16th, it's called Ignite, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're in the building. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be nuts, but I got a live band, backup singers, dancing, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah. But like I'm in that position, right, where I've been performing like every other week leading up into this moment all throughout 2022, and now I'm like thriving and prospering in my career. So many projects on it. Thank you.
Yeah, like doors open up when you follow God. I be telling people that, man.
Yeah, you just follow like internally like what you know like you're supposed to do. So before I was trying to make it happen in my own strength, but then I like completely like stopped rapping altogether and was like, let me just focus on God and let me like really stay still and focus on Him. And out of that space, He released me like start rapping again. And then when I start rapping again, everybody was just flocking to it. Like, yo, this is crazy. Like, bro, you got to put out more music, put out original music. Then I did, and now it's just like going where it's going. So I think
it's not religion. Like a lot of times people think God means like, oh, you're religious or it's like, no, God. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, no, it's not even about like the churchy religion stuff you grew up with. It's really about relationship. Yes, how would you describe it?
Definitely a relationship. And how I would describe that is getting somewhere, like you said, just getting in isolation, taking time to yourself. Because the more you take time to get to know yourself, the more you will start to hear God and see God and understand what He's saying to you. Because I went through a season where like I couldn't wait. I just wanted to hear Him. I'm like, come on, God, please. Like I just need answers. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah. Like, and you have to kind of get to that kind of place of like surrender. You know what I mean? Like surrender, and like you said, like, all right, I'm gonna mess this up. Like I've been messing it up, so I know that I'm gonna mess it up. I'm following the wrong things. I'm forcing the wrong things, and all I'm doing is like losing time. You know what I mean? So
big time.
You get to a place where you finally surrender yourself, and you're like, all right, I don't want to make no more moves until you tell me, and then that kind of puts you into a place of isolation. I don't want no more outside influences. You turn off social media. You turn off everything because I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing but your voice. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the desperation.
I just made a post today that said sometimes the solution is surrenderance.
Yeah.
It's like when you're trying everything else and it's not working, sometimes you just got to get your hand off of it and then let God just handle it. So that was hard, like just surrendering.
Yeah, I think that really just comes from like really being in a broken space. Yeah. And coming from a space of desperation. And my greatest success came from like my lowest moments in life.
Yeah. Always.
It was because I had to like really get to a space where I was like, yo, I am broken. I don't know where I'm going. I'm lost. I don't know who I am. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't even know nothing about nothing.
Like I need help.
And it was from that space when I was transparent with myself that I got the blueprint. And now we're here.
Because when you're down, there's no other way to go but up. But if you keep trying to make yourself be up, then the only thing God's going to do is keep letting you trip so you can go down.
Concluding the whole entire conversation, the underlying theme throughout everything that we've all been saying is really making sure that your foundation is straight in your relationship with Jesus, right? I think that is like the root of everything. Plutonic relationships, mother and father, marriage relationship, whatever, children relationship. You have to be able to first come a space where you're coming from a whole well-rounded perspective of knowing like I have love because I get love from my Creator every single day, and I know who I am and my identity. And when you come from that space, you can consistently give to other people and not be pouring from an empty cup. And that's just the way that like you are able to like gauge just like relationships in general, is by like really being able to know that like the value that you're bringing to the table is only developed in a space of like isolation between you and yourself and the Holy Spirit and God. That's the only way that you really could go through.
And I think basically the whole episode really helped me because I feel like especially us in the Black community, we have such a toxic way of viewing love. And I think that the whole message is really just saying you're not going to find it in that drink, that man, that dude, that girl, that female. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're really not going to find it in there. Like, you really just have to get to the point where you really go to God and you really allow for Him to love you. A lot of people run from God because they feel like He's not going to give them love because they sinned and they fall short, right? But I think this whole episode is really about God is waiting for you to come to Him so that He can give you love, so that He can heal you. And then people like us, we're the collectives, you know what I'm saying? We're coming together, really trying to make the city of Pittsburgh somewhere where people want to come to. I'm tired of everybody saying Pittsburgh's crab in a bucket, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like our assignment is really to change the narrative of Pittsburgh. And I just want to encourage you, whatever you do, whatever gift you got, like step into that, be confident about it, and then go to God so He can give you real love, so you can be authentic, genuine. And then, you know what I mean, you be on the show, you know what I'm saying, come promote your business, come on my show. And man, we just love y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. We just really want to encourage you to, you know what I'm saying, learn how to really truly love yourself so that you can love other people.
Yeah, and I want to just thank y'all so much for coming on the show. I know y'all had a very busy day, but you put little old me on your schedule, and I'm real grateful for real because I love this conversation. And I really hope the audience took something from this because I did. I know I definitely took a lot from this conversation, and I feel like it was very important and a perfect way to kick off the month of love. And, you know, because now any of the love that we talk about is, you know,
and it's
this. So.
And it's Black History Month, too. So,
so
it's a month, you know what I'm saying, where, like, us as, you know, African descents, like, we have to learn how to love ourselves and love the skin that we're in and love our family and our culture and the people that are around us, because like we are really the stuff for real. And everybody in the world want to be like us, so we gotta just really lift each other up. So you know what I'm saying, make sure at the end of the day you like, you comment, you subscribe to her channel. You know what I'm saying?
Make sure you go subscribe to this channel. Yes. Like, don't just look at this video. Like,
this is the way that we. This is the way that we uplift each other. And like bro just was saying, like literally all of us, we have a very mutual type of purpose, which is to be able to create a platform and a space in our city where we're highlighting other individuals, because Pittsburgh is a dope place, and we have a lot of excellent people who are operating at a very, very high level. Yeah. But we don't get enough exposure, so we have to help each other be exposed to the world, so the world can see, like, man, Pittsburgh is dope, because we don't really have a scene, so we got to create the scene, and that's what we're doing right now. So make sure that you're tuning into every single thing that we're doing, because we're literally doing this so that we could also help to lift other people as we climb.
And don't be jealous. You know what I'm saying? I know jealousy, it'd be like, I'm not liking nothing, but listen, at the end of the day,
all of us.
It's for all of us, and as you sow into that person's, you know what I'm saying, business, eventually, you know what I'm saying, your business is booming. So you told people put their businesses in the comment section, like all of that.
Yes, make sure you comment your business for sure. Share what you're doing, especially if you're from Pittsburgh. And especially if you're black.
Hey, especially,
we love y'all. Listen, man, we love
February.
y'all. It's February, Black History Month, but man, listen.
Socials.
I just send love. I send positivity into your spirit. I just, you know what I'm saying, pray that this whole episode just fills you up and that it really encourages you to go and first of all find God, but then also just to find that true love within yourself.
Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all again. And I hope, like I said, I really hope y'all took a lot from this, because I did. Thanks y'all. Love y'all.
So what's your social?
Oh yeah, the socials. So you can find me at marcelljohnson.com. My name is spelled Marcell. There's 2 L's and then johnson.com. Also IG, you can hit me up on there too, and Facebook, all of it.
Yeah, big time. And you can find me on all streaming platforms, all social media as YS1 Yusef Sheltondafirst. And make sure, if you're in the city of Pittsburgh, and even if you're in the surrounding circumferencing area, make sure February 16th and 17th, you come to my show at the New Hazard Theater. It's going to be crazy. We got live band, live singers, backup dancers, and it's going to be ballistic, I promise you.
Visual effects, everything.
This is literally a culmination of everything that I've been working on for the last couple years, and this is a space where I'm finally able to like step into my professional career. So like, if just even off the strength, if you're from the hood, like specifically Homewood, you know what I'm saying, there's no reason that you shouldn't be there in the building. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's one of our own, like, to really be able to be put on a platform so I could grow and expand, and then be able to pull the people up that I see, you know what I'm saying, that is doing work. So
this is a long outro, but I just gotta say that Malik, like, I'm so proud of you. Can y'all please just, you know what I'm saying, send love and, you know what I'm saying, encouragement her way. Like, this is dope. I really had a good time.
Me too.
We're gonna do part 2.
I had so much fun with y'all. We didn't even drink wine.
Y'all,
usually the Bobby said that I drink wine, I guess, but we drink straight water, and we had so much fun.
We on a sober tip.
I be trying to tell people, you could be lit. You could be lit without the things. You know what I'm saying? Purpose is lit.
And we talked about that too, like, you know.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So. Thank
so
y'all
you don't need this in order to have fun.
You don't. You don't.
So you can still wind down on Wednesday without the wine.
Like, come on.
Yes. You can definitely, you know, find yourself a little chill spot, turn this on.
Relax.
Hey yo, I can't deal with her, man. Find yourself a little chill spot.
For real.
Oh,
man,
not
for real this time. Quit playing, because they trying to leave.
All right, love y'all. Take care.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Love you. Peace.